Tough roast. What's going wrong? My housemate often manages to pick up reduced meat from the local supermarket, Sainsbury's in the UK, at the time he comes home. It's usually silverside, topside or brisket of beef. Occasionally it's pork shoulder. Without fail however my meat ends up tough. Here's the exact procedure I follow for my standard roast. Take frozen joint of meat out of the freezer around 8 to 10 a.m. Prepare 2 onions, celery, carrots and half bulb garlic. Throw them in my roasting pan. Season joint with salt and pepper, pour extra virgin olive oil over it, sear it in a frying pan. Cook at 20 degrees less than the suggested temperatures for the suggested times according to my MasterChef book, specifically for that cut of meat. For instance, tonight's brisket was 900 grams. I cooked it at 160 degrees for 1 hour 30 minutes. Rest for 10-15 meters while I make the gravy and finish off the potatoes in another pan. I cook it at 20 degrees less because it's a fan oven. Can anyone explain the factors that affect how tough the meat becomes? Am I not searing properly? Is the meat prone to being tough because it's not fresh, reduced stuff? Is it not defrosting for long enough? Thanks in advance.
Meat is tough for 2 reasons. 1, an abundance of connective tissue. 2, when overcooked. In your case, I'd say you probably have both problems. Cheap meat is tough meat. It is from older animals or well-worked muscle groups. This means that it has been fortified with a lot of extra connective tissue. It also means it has a lot of flavor. The solution to number 1 is slow, wet cooking that will melt that connective tissue into delicious gelatin. Braising is the normal way to do this. When meat is heated too far, even if the connective tissue has been carefully melted out, the meat proteins bunch up and stiffen, resulting in number 2, a dry, unpleasant meal. You are buying tough meat and cooking it relatively quickly with no thermometer. You don't have enough time or moisture to melt the collagen, and you can't be sure you haven't overcooked the meat because you don't know the temperature. Using time doesn't work because chunks of meat are irregularly shaped, so you can't know how long it will take for the heat to penetrate. Buy yourself a probe thermometer to prevent number 2. For number 1, look for pot roast recipes. Some are easily done in slow cookers, others use a tent of sealed foil over the meat to seal in moisture. Plan on it taking much longer than your 1.5 hours. 3 to 6 hours are typical to produce a really succulent pot roast. The searing is just for flavor and will not play a role in either melting collagen or cooking the interior of the meat. Just as a heads up to anyone else reading this, I cooked a 1.3 kilograms joint of brisket at 140 degrees Celsius, fan oven, for 3 hours. It was absolutely beautiful, tender, melt in your mouth kind of stuff. So, for anyone looking to cook brisket or silverside, give this a go. Lorraine Pascal has an excellent recipe for it in this, see link 1. book.